What is a remote contingent beneficiary? If you've read through your will, you probably get about halfway in and you see this term and you aren't really sure what it is. My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm an estate planning attorney in Edina, Minnesota, also with an office in Brooklyn, New York. And this morning I met with a client and that was one of their first questions. We got to Article 5, it said remote contingent beneficiary, and they were curious what actually is a remote contingent beneficiary. When you're putting together your will, you hopefully have a very strong idea of where you want your assets to go. Probably you've gone through a family tree and you've decided who's going to get what. If you have children and grandchildren, it's clearly spelled out for you. Now the question is, what is that provision that says remote contingent beneficiary? At the easiest point, it is where your estate will go if all of the people you've named in your will are no longer living. In our legal language, we call that predeceased. And so your will then operates as we've gone through all of the people who are beneficiaries under your will. None of them are left. Probably they have no descendants. So the question is, where should your estate go at that point? Now, the question that most of my clients will ask me at this point is, who should I choose? I mean, if everybody close to you is gone and there's nobody left to inherit, who would be the right person to receive your estate at that time? Some common examples of people you may choose might be distant relatives, people that you aren't that close to, who maybe you met once or twice at family reunions, and they're far enough away that you thought maybe that's a good choice for them. You could also look at your friends. Perhaps if you have no extended family that could inherit from you, your friends would be the next best choice. A lot of my clients will look at charities. Maybe there's a particular charity that you're spending time volunteering at who could really benefit from a little extra fundraising from your estate. Similar to a charity, a lot of my clients will also leave a portion of their estate to their church or synagogue. And the important thing to consider when you're looking at remote contingent beneficiaries is also, do you have a personal connection to them? So in my meeting this morning, as we went through the will and we got to the remote contingent beneficiary provisions, and I explained to my client what it actually meant, the first thing he said was, "Oh, I've got just the right place. There's a children's hospital that took care of one of our grandchildren. The grandchild was in the NICU, the Native Intensive Care Unit, for over 100 days when the child was first born." So the client said that would be the perfect place for my estate to go. If my kids were gone, if my grandchildren were unable to inherit, then at least they could benefit the hospital so that other children be able to benefit from the services provided. So when you're thinking about your remote contingent beneficiaries, think of things that may have a personal connection to you, someone who really could benefit in the unlikely case that everyone else you've chosen under your will is unable to inherit.